We continue here at NHL tonight. AJ Radick, Kevin Weeks, and Matt Namberg. One step up or one step back? No, we're not commenting on the show. We're talking about certain teams right now as we're moving forward. Yeah. The first we're going to look at is the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, as far as addition to the team, not much. Re-signing John Tavares, but you lose Mitch Marner and Ryan Reeves. To me, Weeksy, this is fairly straightforward. This would be a Leafs team that I think will take a step back, no?
Hard to replace 102 points. With Mitch Marner, 9 years, he was great. He averaged, 90 points a season? Yeah. So I think for the Toronto Maple Leafs, I wouldn't be surprised to see them take a step back. Now, is that an indictment of where their team is? No, not necessarily. But it's hard to lose premier players each. Yep. I see them taking a step back this season. You?
Yeah, I mean, they did add, and I think it was really good on them to get Nick Waugh. I think he could be a really helpful player for them. And, they made some other additions as well. But they did win the division last year, which they haven't done in a long time. And they took Florida to 7 games. So I would say I would have to agree a step back in terms of the regular season. But we'll see what else they can do between now and next year's playoffs. Because I did think last year they were a harder team to play against.
Yeah, certainly improvements on defense. Yep. You saw what Tanev brought to the table.
Absolutely.
More grit and toughness. All right, next team, the Vegas Golden Knights. And this would seem to be straightforward here. I think they take a one step up because they have Mitch Marner, but Pietrangelo going to miss the entire season. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a tough one to think about because Alex Pietrangelo, I'm a big fan. I mean, I think he's a Hall of Fame player.
He is.
Stanley Cup with 2 different teams and was a big part of things. And it's hard to replace a player like that. They also moved on from Nick Hague. They added some pieces on defense. Obviously, Marner's the biggest addition. I'm going to say a step back.
Really? You add Marner and you're going to step back.
Well, just only in terms of, he's got to get settled in there. And Bruce Cassidy wants to play a certain way, and I don't know if their defense without Pietrangelo would be as good. So it's the same thing with Toronto. Yeah. Remember, now Vegas won the division last year. They didn't have the playoffs they wanted. Maybe a hair of a step back, and I think that they'll have some things they will do to help that defense and help the rest of their team moving forward.
I'm going to say they take a step forward for this reason. I like the Marner is one thing. We know what that is.
Yeah.
That's already lightning in a bottle. But I also say, subtly, bringing Riley Smith back in the fold there and re-signing him, he's a very good utility piece with really good skill. He loves being there, never wanted to leave there in the first place. And now he's back there. I think they'll take a step forward. They're always in it. They swing for the fences.
Yes, they are.
I'll say they take a step forward.
All right.
Okay, so we've done Toronto and Vegas. How about the New York Islanders? Again, this is an intriguing team because you say, all right, new GM. We all know they had a lot of picks in the first round. They obviously got Matthew Schaefer. They add Jonathan Drouin, friend of the show. We just talked to him in NHL tonight. What do you think? One step up, one step back for the Islanders?
Well, it's funny we're talking about them because somebody in our control room is always crying about them.
The Sandman,
Now all of a sudden he wants to talk about them again.
Yes.
But no, I would say this. I think for the New York Islanders, they're going to take a step forward. I've done several of their games these last few years. I like the acquisitions. We talked about it yesterday. They needed to get quicker. They have. They needed to get more skilled. They have. They need to play at a higher tempo. I think they will. And I think all of that being said, and having your players healthy and then adding Dave Riddick in behind Sorokin and retaining Sorokin, I think this team is poised for a step forward.
Yeah, and, they had to do that because Varlamov has a pretty significant injury, right? And we don't know if and when he'll be back, so that's why Rittich is there. Because last year, it was Sorokin every game for a long stretch. They just didn't have anybody they felt comfortable with behind him, so that was a good addition. I think there's going to be a new vibe around the Islanders, so I'm going to say a step forward. They have Matthew Schaefer now. I'm a big believer that Matthew Schaefer should go and maybe play college hockey for a year. I don't think he should be in the National Hockey League this year. He played 17 games or thereabouts of junior hockey last year. I love this kid. He's a wonderful talent. He's got a magnetic personality. I have no doubt that he has the skill to be a really great NHL player for many years. He will not turn 18 until early September. To go into a situation with the New York Islanders this year for young players, that is a lot. So he's going to do what he wants. The Islanders are going to do what they want. But for me, as someone who's observing, coming off of a year where he was injured and did not play a lot last year, I personally, for his development and his growth, I would beg them I would pick, if I was him, I would pick a college, go somewhere for a year, develop, get stronger, get bigger, and then when that season ends, you reevaluate and you likely join the Islanders at that point. We will see what happens, but I love that kid, and I think he's got the potential to be a great, great player. I just think he needs another year.
73 career games in the OHL, to your point. That's not a lot of experience.
Not a lot.
And last up, the Carolina Hurricanes. They've certainly been active. Nikolai Ehlers, Keandre Miller. This feels like a one step up here, Each.
I'm going to go one step up here for Carolina as well. Now, there are some guys there that are pretty significant players. I mean, Burns goes to Colorado, and Orlov goes to San Jose, and but they got Ehlers, right? Like, they were that we thought he was going to go there. They were able to get him, bring him in. I think he'll fit in there. Keandre Miller, they went out and traded for him. They signed him to a long-term deal. I like Keandre Miller. I think he had a tough year like everybody else with the Rangers last year. I think he'll have a chance to grow and develop in Carolina. And so I do think they take a step forward this year.
I do too. I think the Canes take a step forward. They've been knocking at the door for years. They've been so consistent. Playoffs, well coached under Roddy, everything. They have a real identity in terms of how they play shift to shift and typically game to game. I think Ehlers fits them stylistically in terms of his speed and his tempo. I think they take a step forward.
Yeah, criticism has been they don't have that game breaker A+ player. They tried with Rantanen.
They tried with Rantanen.
They've got now Ehlers in the mix, and obviously, as you said, Keandre Miller definitely has upside.